All right, this is a training video that's going to be used for our employees, and if it helps you as well, excellent. So how do you know if you've got a check valve that has failed in the system? Well, you'll get a call that the client or the homeowner, the renter, has woken up and seen that the pool has dropped down significantly. And when that happens, the first thing you'll do is walk over to the trough area here, and you'll be able to confirm that the trough here has started to overflow. The area that it overflowed here was right over that area there. You can see it pulling down there at the bottom. And I've started the pump up here to bring the water up from the trough and redistribute it into the swimming pool. And when you do that, you want to make sure that you shut down all the other intake valves, the vacuum, the skimmer, except for the trough. And that way you're pulling all the water out of the trough, putting it back into the swimming pool, and you've got to stick around and watch just to make sure that the trough doesn't run dry. If the trough starts to run dry, you'll stop the pump and then finish up the filling with the hose. So usually you'll see the check valve, which is what will have failed here. Usually you see it right here on the intake side. Ordinarily they would have or should have put it right here, easiest to get to. But in this case, they've placed it all the way down the system right to here. And this is the valve that separates the two levels of water, the swimming pool and the trough. And when the system shuts down, this valve closes and keeps all the water that's uphill going to the swimming pool from coming backwards through the system and overflowing from the swimming pool back into the trough, and from the trough into the landscape. Alright, so once again, ordinarily they'll put a trough valve here closer to the equipment, but it's located a bit farther away. But in either scenario, you'll want to shut the water supply, in this case the suction to the pump, off so that you're isolating that trough line, because otherwise you're going to just have a whole bunch of water from the pool come right back through that line. Right? So once you've got the valve shut down that goes back to the trough check valve, the check valve in question, then you can head back down there, and you'll need a larger size Phillips head screwdriver, although ordinarily you would use an impact drill or a regular drill with a larger Phillips head. And if you're using a regular drill, you'd want to back that clutch off, because you don't want to over tighten it, because in doing so you could accidentally crack the check valve. Keep in mind, because this check valve is located so far away from the pump room, you're still going to have all of this water that's backed up in the line, and so that will come back through here. It would have been nice if they had placed a valve right here so that you can just shut the valve here, and then you've only got this amount of water right here. Now, before you remove the check valve, okay, take note that there's an arrow here, which means that the flow of water is going that way. You want to make sure that you keep the arrow going the same direction when you put your new valve in. I chuckle only because yours truly has made that exact mistake. Okay, so here's the newer valve. Okay, and when the water flows through it, pulls up on that check valve there, the flapper valve, and when the water stops, it snaps back into position, creating a seal here, and then it stops the flow. So when you loosen this up, the best thing to do is go here, 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 okay, and then you can do the rest of them, right? It's not so important when you're taking it off, but when you're putting it back on, don't try to tighten each one down and then move to the next one and tighten it way down. Do a little bit here and then go all the way across like you would a car tire. Tighten that down a little bit. Here, just snug them all the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can do the rest, and then you can do one more time all the way around. That way you're not putting too much stress on any one of these anchoring points. Alright, once you've got all the screws removed, you're just going to kind of pry it up little bit by little bit all the way around. There comes your water. So once you've got the check valve out, I'm not going to wait for all the water to stop. I'm just going to kind of place it down there nice and snug, and then I'm going to set my my screws back into place. Make sure also that when you put your new check valve in, just make sure that you still got the O-ring on the other side. This one's from the older one here, right? And that's where it sits into place there. And this doesn't look too terrible, but you can see that it's got some of those stress cracks right there. But given how long this check valve has been in place, it's done a pretty good job. So again, when you tighten everything down, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can work your way around. Snug it up just a little bit at a time. And then voila. Now you're going to have to wait for the trough to fill all the way back up again before you turn the system back on. And that will take some time. And you can kind of speed up the scenario by putting a hose in the water, making sure that you've got a timer on the end of the hose bib so that you don't overfill it by accidentally leaving it on. And then she'll start right back up again and go just the way it's supposed to go.